this time. We can't give you another Rolls.
I am slightly hoping you miss weight again. Just a little bit.
Only one Rolls Royce for you.
Genuinely, to know that you missed weight and he got a fucking big fat Rolls Royce out of it, it can't be nice.
I'm hoping you're well recovered.
Interesting line about the well-recovered bit, because let's be real here. Chris Eubank Jr. was in hospital so much longer in such a worse state than Conor Benn was. Conor Benn was fucking back on the treadmill the very next day. And a lot of people have been talking about, you know, the weight cut for Eubank, but also just age. Conor Benn is young and fresh and has nowhere near the level of miles on him that Eubank has. And for me, that's part of the question for this next fight of like, what did that take out of Eubank? Because clearly it took a lot out of him. Has he recovered? And coming into this next fight, they've both got a lot of data on each other. Eubank figured Ben out as the fight went on. However, he also learned, I can't just walk through you. Like, you are a tough kid. And I think he knows now it's going to take more than he originally thought to, like, get him out of there, for example. Whereas for Conor Benn, he hadn't fought in ages before that last fight. You could say there was ring rust. He looked really wild in there. Like, he always looks wild, but he was really, like, swinging and missing, and that sharpness that you get from activity just wasn't really there. Not to mention, it's his first big mega fight, and like his dad's there, and there's so much added pressure. I think that Conor Benn really struggled to keep his cool and stick to a game plan and have that focus in there, and I think that might be a problem with him personally, but that would have been him, in my opinion, at his worst. This time, he's got another training camp in, he's been there before, he's fought him before, he's been in the environment before. I don't see how Conor Benn can't be even just a little bit better this time. But will that be enough against a man who's taller than you, longer reach than you, more experienced than you, has beaten you before? It's going to be a tough one to call, lads. But one thing's for sure, that was a classic fight. I loved every second of it. But the maddest thing about this month in boxing is this rematch might not even be the best fight this month. And that's because on November 22nd, we have 4 world titles on the line live from Saudi Arabia. We are going to be there on the Pain Game. Pound for pound top 10, David Benavidez takes on Anthony Yarde, Britain's own. He's an absolute beast. But can he stand up to one of the most ferocious punchers in boxing? He's an absolute joke. David Benavidez is one of my favourite fighters to watch in boxing. To be fair to Anthony Yarde, though, he ain't bad either. Like, fuck my, he's a destroyer, this kid. Like, I think this has got fight of the year potential. It's going to be an absolute war. We've seen from Yarde, when he fights the best, as he did with Beterbiev, he raises his game. And you've also got Jesse Bam Rodriguez, another pound for pound top 10 fighter on the card. You've got Devin Haney taking on Brian Norman Jr. This one's personal for me. You know I hate Devin Haney. I can't fucking stand it. And I actually really like Brian Norman Jr. Not because we share the same cool name, but also this kid can fucking punch. And I mean punch. I'm hoping that we see Devin Haney silenced for good, man, because I'm fucking sick of this shit. And you could easily argue that this will be the best pound for pound card in boxing this year. So this Saturday, it's Eubank versus Ben. Next Saturday, we got the Ring 4. But today, we're going to look at the face-off between Eubank and Ben. We're going to fact-check them. We're going to see who's breaking under the pressure. But first, I've got to give a shout-out to my amazing sponsors, Surfshark. I know a lot of you lot, you like your adult entertainment, you like your boxing, you want to find ways to watch it online. Well, these guys are the place to go. And it's super cheap. Adult movie usage is down 47% since the introduction of the Online Safety Act. But not in my house, it's not. All I did was download Surfshark for less than the price of a coffee a month. And trust me, that is more than paid for itself. 10 times over. Honestly, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I just click on Surfshark on my phone, click on I'm now in America, and then I don't have to do all of this, enter your age, enter your ID. I don't want to send a picture of myself. I just want to see some big boobs. But whatever you're into, Surfshark has got you covered, and it is the easiest app to use ever created. And also, if you want to watch boxing and football, this app is going to come in handy. You know exactly what I'm on about. And it works on all of your devices, so what the hell are you waiting for, lads? Just click the link in the description below. Go to surfshark.com/paingame, and you can get the ultimate game changer for your everyday entertainment in Surfshark for less than the price of a coffee a month. And that includes 4 extra months of Surfshark when you use my link. So not only are you having a good time, you're helping us keep the lights on and make more good content for you. This is a no-brainer. It's a win-win. So do me a favour, get on it.
One unforgettable night. Back in April, Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn gave us a war worthy of their names. A fight that lived up to 3 decades of rivalry. they climbed out of their father's shadows and lit up the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Can we just acknowledge, though, it was different to their fathers. Their fathers were evenly matched in height, in reach, in size, in experience. This was a much less experienced Conor Benn, a 3 inches shorter Conor Benn, a 5 inches less reach advantage Conor Benn, a person who's weighing about a stone or more less than his opponent. Like, Conor Benn was massively disadvantaged in this fight, and I don't think enough gets made of that because of the way Chris Eubank has cried and made such a massive deal over this rehydration clause. And I'm not saying that that's, a good thing and that we should have them in boxing. I don't. But you fucking signed it, mate. You could have gone and fought men your own size and you picked the small guy. So stop fucking whinging when Conor Benn is literally having to fight a guy way bigger than him and nothing ever gets made of that somehow. I find it mental. And let's not kid ourselves. That much smaller man did a lot of fucking damage to him that night. It wasn't easy.
I respect you. And I think you're good at what you do. That yeah, it's good. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I like it.
Well, this is...
You're going to come with it now, aren't you?
This is who I am.
It's so funny how the way they speak to each other is very similar to the way they fought each other. Chris is so calm and on the sort of relaxed side and letting you bring the energy, which is the way the fight went. Conor Benn was bringing the energy, trying to close the distance. He was aggressive. And then Chris Eubank sort of tries to make him pay for those mistakes he's making, just like they do verbally.
I'm uncensored. I'm unfiltered. If I see something and I don't like it or I don't agree with it, I point it out. So do you.
The fact that he says so do you shows that he appreciates that Ben is a no bullshit guy also. It's funny because for all Eubank has taken on Eddie Hearn and promoters, he speaks about them with disgust. like no one I've ever heard. He actually doesn't really speak about Conor Benn as bad, even though he calls him a cheat. I don't think he hates him anywhere near as much as he hates the promoters. And I think that's down to the money, because he knows I need you to make money, but the promoters, they're pissing me off with the money.
Parliamentary procedure.
Yeah, just say it, Chris. Get it off your chest.
In the way I speak.
Get it off your chest.
Fucking hell, the aggression from Conor Benn early on, yeah. It's just not giving, I'm going to be more calm in the It's not giving that, is it?
We should be fighting tomorrow, Chris.
We should have.
Oh, you didn't you, mate?
Oh, well.
Oh, no, you're too busy playing in the casinos and living that lavish life. And
me living the lavish life?
No. I just went on holiday with my family. That was all. Been a tough 3 years. So I just went on holiday with my family.
What was that car you bought with the money?
Oh, the weight money, mate. That's, me, every time I jump in there, and I smell pain.
Yeah.
Did you arrive in it today?
Yeah, of course I smell pain. I smell undiscipline. I smell... Yeah.
Sabotage. Everybody's out to get Chris Eubank Jr. That's the thing that just blows my mind. You signed the contract, you agreed to do it, you didn't make it. I'm not saying that I think this is like fair, but this is boxing. There was no sabotage. This is the car that Conor Benn got. Now, it's a beautiful car. Can I just say the colour? I don't know. It's such a classy car. And it's just to do that to it just breaks my fucking heart. But hey, Eubank basically paid for that.
Every time I jump in that Rolls, Chris, I'll go, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
I'm happy for you.
No, it's all right. Thank you. I'm saying thank you to you as well.
Do you know what, right? When you know Chris and how Chris Eubank is very money driven, a lot of people overlook how much this will piss him off. It will piss him off, no end. So I will give credit to Ben. He's got him on a point, which is very hard to do. Chris is a good talker. He's got him on something here, at least.
What I've learned throughout my life is that material things don't really mean...
he's so rich. He's sitting there with a Gucci jacket and a chandelier.
What a load of shite, man. Chris Eubank Jr. is a bullshitter of the highest order, which is, he's got it off his dad. His dad is fantastic at it as well. I've been around Chris. I've seen him at an event before. You never see him in anything that is not the most expensive clothing known to man. As if this guy's just happy to go and live in the woods and material possessions are just not a thing to me. What a load of shite. He had his car parked outside of a fucking hotel. It was the highest order of a McLaren you could ever fucking find. This man loves money, and the favorite thing to do when he's not boxing is to play poker, and he loves it. So let's not act like you aren't crazy about money, mate, because you fucking are. And there's nothing wrong with it, but let's not act like that's not who you are, because you fucking are. But he's trying to take away from Ben's point, and it's just like, mate, nah, I'm sorry, ladies.
What makes me happy is winning.
That's a good point. I beat you, I won, and your little win of money doesn't matter compared to winning the actual fight. Fair play. He got it back then.
Why was you not ready September 20th? Genuine question.
I was ready.
Well, you wasn't because the fight fell through. We had Wembley booked.
I don't need to fight when you want to fight.
No, it's not when I wanted to fight. It's when we all had agreed. You and your team with Turk Sheikh. A genuine question, because it was all agreed. Wembley was booked, by the way. There was maybe 6 weeks of negotiations. The date, venue set, booked. Asked me if I was good for that date. No problem. What happened, Chris?
I decided that I didn't want to fight on September 20th because you did.
He's lying. He is lying. When everyone had put all of the time and energy and effort, this takes a lot of people putting their heads together to book venues, everything was locked in. Then Eubank apparently goes, nah, I'm not going to fight so soon because that's when you want to fight. Bullshit, my guy. You don't mess around all of those people just for the sake of trying to piss your opponent off. There's no way. I think there's a few things. He took a big fucking beating in the last fight. He was really in a bad way, actually. The recovery of that would have taken a while. Then, you know, after such a grueling fight, do you want to get in the gym and push yourself to such a degree? Or do you want to give yourself an extra couple of months just to rest? And then he also loves the fucking poker and he loves going away in Vegas and all of this shit. Have a bit of fun. And he's never been someone who's wanting to fight all the time. This whole, I'm a driven fighter and I love winning and that. Yeah, he obviously wants to win fights. But Eubank's never been the guy who fights because he loves the fighting. He loves the lifestyle it provides him with. And I think it says a lot that Conor Benn was keen to get in there sooner rather than later, and it was Eubank who pushed it back.
I'll fight you right now.
I'm ready for Sep 2020.
But I was ready for whenever. I'll fight you now.
This kid wants to fight Sep 2020th, so you know what? We're not going to do it.
Again, Eubank is lying. And he's lied quite a lot already. We've fucking been watching it 2 minutes. And I don't mind it, by the way. You're trying to win a war of words, but it's clear that he is happy to hide the truth in order to just save face. Whereas I do think Conor Benn is a lot more honest in his chat. He's a lot more... When you get him on something, you will just concede it.
I wanted to push on for world titles, Chris. So really, I'm delaying my world title.
We want to delay.
But I want to get a world title, one like you.
We want to obstruct.
I want to get a world title, one like you. So my next bout...
people don't get what
next bout, Chris, is scheduled at 147, just to let you know, just in case you're confused whether I'm a 160, 154, it's scheduled at 147.
We're doing the weight talk again.
No, I'm just letting you know, Chris.
Oh, look at me, I've got to jump.
No.
You haven't been a work weight for 4 years.
We got to pause this, because Conor Benn is a 147 fighter. Yes, he hasn't fought there in a while, but look at the size of him when he's in the ring with a 160-pound Eubank. He looks fucking tiny. When they were doing their weigh-in, when Eubank had boiled himself down to make 160, Conor Benn was 155. He couldn't even get to 160 before they weighed in. Eubank would have been over 170 when he was in the ring. Conor Benn would have been 155. There'd have been over 15 pounds difference, maybe 20 pounds difference in there. That doesn't happen in boxing unless you're Usyk and you're fighting big monsters. Conor Benn will make 147 easily. This is literally for the money, for the legacy, and then he's going back down. And he's going to try and fight for world titles. And the reason he's putting that into Eubank Jr. is because Eubank Jr. has never been about world titles. He just wants the cash, which is why it's so funny earlier when he's talking about you're materialistic and all of that. And it's like, mate, you're the most materialistic boxer there is. You don't even care about the gold. You never did. If you did, you wouldn't be wasting your time fighting blokes who are so much smaller than you that are never going to get you a world title.
Your last fights, 4 fights were at 160. Didn't see you wrapped up in a kit for any of them promos or documents, did you?
Listen, the way I lose weight is the way I lose weight.
Oh, he's got him on that. This is fucking true from Conor Benn, by the way. Chris Eubank Jr. has been making 160 for time. Is it an easy weight cut? No. It's his choice to consistently do it at that weight because the punchers down there aren't quite as hard hitting as a 168. He never showed the way he does weight cuts, which is the same every time, obviously, in the way he did for the Conor Benn fight. It was almost like, poor, pitiful me. Feel sorry for me, everyone. Getting his excuses in before the fight, basically. The way it comes across to me. Making himself the victim. And it worked. Literally, every boxing fan felt sorry for him because no one wants to go through that. And I totally understand that. But let's not act like it wasn't his fucking choice. You decided to fight a much smaller man, and you knew if you do that, the only way they can even make this remotely fair, and it's not even fair, even still, is to put a rehydration clause in there. I don't personally like them. I don't like fighters who are that much smaller, fighting guys who are that much bigger. I don't think there's a lot of things that aren't right about this fight, but it's because of the legacy that they've made it, because of the money involved. But if you're going to sign on the dotted line, stop fucking whinging about it and making yourself a victim when you go in there, and clearly when we watch the fight, your height, your reach, your weight advantage, it had a massive difference. I've I've never known a fighter have the height, reach, weight advantage in a fight and everyone look at him and go, feel sorry for him when you're basically bullying the smaller guy. He chose the rehydration clause. He chose to not fight Hamza Shiraz. He chose all of these things. Could have fought much bigger, much more difficult men, and he picked the smallest guy possible. I'm not fucking giving him credit for that because he has to fucking weight train himself when he weight trains himself for every fight fucking anyway. And I just think the narrative around this fight has been very unkind to Conor Benn, as if he's some sort of bully. It's mental. You don't like the fucking weight cut, don't do the fucking weight cut and fight Hamza Shiraz and see what happens. We fucking know what would happen. Exactly.
It's easy to say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to win this world title and I'm going to get this opportunity. Boxing is a very political sport. Sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you won a world title. It doesn't matter if you're in a position.
Bullshit. You're just bullshitting, mate. You're fighting a kid fucking way smaller than you. Don't give a fuck about world titles, mate.
After I dispatch this kid again, for sure we're looking to get a world title.
Dispatch, was it?
Well, you know, it was a convincing,
just be honest.
comprehensive beatdown.
You jumped down on the floor like, thank God I won that time.
Let's look at it again. He was pretty happy about that.
Because I won so convincingly, let me fall down to the floor and just, you know, like...
He's got a point there, Ben. Like, that was a fucking hard fight considering the size difference. Very hard. I'm of the belief if they were the same size, I think Conor Benn would have won. But that extra weight, that extra size allowed Eubank to absorb the shots. Even then, he was still shook to his boots a couple of times. If you were the same size, would you have been able to keep going through that? I don't think so, considering he's been fucking knocked out cold not long ago. It was a win for Eubank, but it was a lot harder than what he thought it was going to be.
I'm not going to shout and scream and throw my toys out of the pram like you and Eddie do.
But how's that?
What do you mean, how's that?
How's that?
Look at the things you've done and said throughout over the last 5 months.
Like what?
Like every interview that you've done.
No, enlighten me.
Well, listen.
No, enlighten me, Chris.
The fans,
enlighten me. I actually don't even know what you're talking about. What it is I've said that's got you all... don't know, you're obviously thinking about it. It's been 5 months worth of things I've said.
You're an emotional guy. You wear your heart on your sleeve, as you say.
Yeah, of course, yeah. What have I said? What's have I said that's really hurt your feelings to bring it up today?
Nothing.
The little games that go on in these two talking to each other, like Chris complains about Conor. Conor's like, well, if you're going to complain, say what it is I've said. And if I've hurt your feelings, meaning you're being weak now. And then Chris Eubank immediately goes, no, nothing at all. But it's like, well, what are you fucking talking about then? And I think Conor's benefiting a little bit from that first fight of having to do all of this shit with Chris so that he isn't getting as bamboozled by him as he was last time at times.
The dehydration that I experienced.
Shut up.
My toenail fell off.
Chris, do you know what? Do you know what? I've got to take my hat off to you. Because you see, moving forward in my career, I will take a leaf out of your book and how much you talk, but it obviously convinces some public. I'll rate it. I will shake your hand.
When it actually happens. It's like when Eddie said...
No.
It's like when Eddie Hearn says that it didn't happen, that my ambulance was stopped for 20 minutes.
Chris, you can't say that.
Eddie Hearn never said your ambulance wasn't stopped from getting out of the building. Eddie Hearn said that he had nothing to do with it because you were blaming Eddie Hearn for the whole fucking stadium and everything that happens inside of it. And by the way, Eubank is now getting sued for those comments where he accused Eddie Hearn of stopping his ambulance from making it to the hospital, as if that was some sort of conspiracy that Eddie Hearn concocted. And don't get me wrong, this really does help with fight build-up. It makes it a bit more interesting. But again, Eubank talks so much shit. I've been in those stadiums loads of times, obviously, and there's no fucking organisation. Like, loads of time, things are going wrong, things are happening. It feels like no one's fucking in charge. And I can easily understand how disorganised those places can be, how that could have happened. It's stupid, it's wrong, but I wouldn't fucking blame Eddie Hearn for it as if he's in charge of every single person at that fucking stadium.
I was in hospital, I was on a drip, I was in a bad way, I was dehydrated. It's called a fight.
What's that got to do with
because
people stopping your ambulance
no one
from leaving?
Your ambulance.
Okay,
no one
well, when I put the footage out,
I put the footage
when
out.
the CCTV cameras come out,
Chris.
when the lawyers get involved, then you're going to shut up, aren't you?
Just a quick one. This is actually what Eubank Jr. looked like when he was in hospital. This is how busted up his face was. I mean, fuck me. And again, everyone puts that down to, oh, it was the weight training, it was the dehydration. It's like, well, he's also getting older and he took a fucking lot of shots, loads of them. And I honestly think it's bothered Chris Eubank Jr. a little bit in the fact that Conor Benn, the day after, was on the treadmill. Yes, he was a little bit swollen, but he was fucking amazingly good shape compared to the state that Eubank Jr. was in. And then he's on a flight to fucking New York City. He went to an event. It was as if Conor Benn had won the fight, and Chris Eubank Jr., he must have been in his hospital bed thinking, how the fuck is this guy already doing all these things? That would bother me, because that tells you for a fact this kid is recovering at light speed compared to what I am. And recovery is a big part of aging, and it's not as easy for you the older you get. And I wonder if he's worried that the miles that fight put on the clock, which it clearly did, is going to have an impact in this fight. I'm not sure about it, but it is a cause for concern.
Eddie and Conor, they like to kind of shut it down. He's just talking, he's just doing this. But the truth of it is, I don't have any reason to lie. I won the fight. I'm not the victim.
All I hear is excuses
I'm not the victim.
Here. I ain't made no excuses. 13 months out of the ring, first fight at 160, first waist, none of that. I don't care.
Genuinely, that's not even up for debate. And I know people might think I'm siding with Conor on a lot of this. It's just that Chris Eubank just lies so much. Chris Eubank Jr. made himself a victim before he even walked in the ring, even though he was the bigger man, the longer reach, the heavier man, the more experienced. Conor Benn hadn't fought in fuck knows how long, fought his first fight at 160 against a much bigger bloke. He should never have been fighting him. Never made one excuse, never made himself the victim, never bothered. No one would have cared anyway because of his failed drug test. He wasn't flavour of the month. But Chris Eubank Jr. constantly, and not just in this fight, whether it be the problems with Eddie Hearn, everything, he's always the victim. It's everyone is against him. And I'm just, you're in your late 30s now, mate. I'm fucking bored of hearing it. You fucking signed up for the fight. Get a fucking grip.
How many times did Crawford talk about his
I'm
weight
not
jump?
Crawford. You're not
That's
Canelo.
right, you're not
I'm
Crawford.
You're not Canelo.
You're a man
that's for all
that
the
had
time.
to
That's for all the
put
world
rehydration clauses.
Do you know why there was no need for a rehydration clause for Crawford and Canelo? Because when you looked at them, they were basically the same size by the time they got in the ring. In fact, Crawford, I think, was maybe slightly taller and a slightly longer reach. Like, there was no size difference. This is not a good example at all, and it's just more bullshit. There was a massive size difference between these two.
That's
If I
different.
didn't have these disadvantages, you would have no shot.
Listen, Chris, if you're the A side,
You're not confident.
if you're the A side,
You're not confident.
if you were the A side, you'd negotiate. Your team wouldn't allow that. Your team wouldn't allow that.
We got
okay,
paid.
well then
that was the negotiation.
Where's the thank you?
Okay,
That's
if
it,
you
done.
guys are begging
That's
me
it,
for a
done.
rehydration course, you can pay me.
No one begging.
You begged.
No one begging. No one begged.
And we gave
Why
you
didn't
what
you guys
wanted.
document it or bring it up in this time round? It wasn't even a topic of discussion. Why didn't you bring it up? If it was really an issue and a really a big health concern, why not bring it up?
I won the fight. I don't want to have to bring it up.
Sharp then.
The reality is the size difference on them in the ring with a rehydration clause. Without one, what the fuck would it have looked like then? And this is the mad thing, is everyone thinks this is an unfair fight because Conor Benn has a rehydration clause placed on Eubank Jr. It's an unfair fight to start off with. The rehydration clause doesn't make it fair. We've seen because of the way the fight went. Those advantages that Eubank Jr. had played a massive part in him winning this fight. In fact, it was the main factor. So the rehydration clause, while I don't agree with them, generally speaking, didn't actually make a difference in terms of the result. It still wasn't enough. And if you don't want a rehydration clause, fight someone your own size. Go and fight Hamza Shiraz. See how that goes. Exactly. You want to fight the smaller man because that's the easier fight and it's a money fight and you'll happily sign this to get it done. So much so that they didn't even question it in the rematch negotiations. So why the fuck does he bring it up? Because he wants to look like a victim.
You said you were going to knock him out early. You were going to take him out. You believed it. Yeah. You were going to take him out for good. You could not believe after the fight that you didn't break him early. You said that they were your words.
Yeah, that's true.
I genuinely thought I'd knock him out.
That's
Genuinely.
Not true.
But how's that not true?
Because it's not true.
But how's that not true?
Because
I thought I was going to have you face down on the canvas.
You know for a fact.
How can I know that for a fact? Liam Smith done it.
Yeah,
how can you say no? I know that for a fact.
That was a 1 in a million.
1 in a million.
That was a one in a million.
But it still happened, didn't it?
It wasn't a 1 in a million situation. It was literally 2 fights before you fought. You were fucking absolutely sparked. Conor Benn looked at that and thought, I'll do that to him. Look at the way Conor Benn came out swinging like a fucking lunatic. He absolutely thought he was going to knock him out. It was the entire game plan. And the game plan was wrong for that reason. Eubank just doesn't like the idea that he thought he could actually do it to him.
How can you tell me what I'm thinking when you've proven to be knocked out cold on your feet? So
the fight finished with me on my feet.
Cold. You was out cold. You couldn't tell me what day it was.
Out cold is
no.
You on the floor. The referee says no more.
You could not tell me what day it was.
Stood up.
You couldn't tell me what year it was.
I said to the referee, "Let me fight, my friend. I am ready to go."
Conor's got him stood up in this face-off, demonstrating, I was fine. I was fine. I think this genuinely does bother Eubank. And I can imagine why, because let's take a fucking look at what actually happened. He's in the corner here, Eubank. I mean, it wasn't smart fighting, was it? And he just got absolutely decimated by Liam Smith here. I mean, and look, he is technically on his feet, like, but I mean, that is one of the worst states I've seen a fighter get back up. And look, credit to him, he got back up, right? But like, my God. He was not in a good way, and he can't even stand up. This whole thing of I was on my feet, look at him. He can't stand up to save his life. He is absolutely out of it. And very well done to Liam Smith by not smacking him again. He was gone. But let's let Eubank tell us exactly how it went.
Let me fight, my friend. I am ready to go.
But you're lucky he didn't.
He waved it off. I said, okay, you know what? The fight's over.
He didn't even know what was going on. Let me fight, my friend. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
I'm going to walk over to Liam and stand in front of his face and let him know.
What sort of walk that was? If I was your person, would have just taken a seat and sit down.
You know that I'm ready to go.
No, Chris,
that's what happened in that fight.
Chris, come on, give him credit.
He knew.
He was so ready to go. He was so ready. All the shit Eubank talks about, everyone out to sabotage him, everyone's against him. He should thank his lucky stars that referee jumped in when he did. He did a fucking good favour for him, because he would have been slept and it might have affected him permanently.
I thought I'd break him. I thought he would quit. Because that's what cheaters do. People are forgetting now that this guy is a drug cheat. So when you have that type of mentality to where you take steroids to try and improve your performance, that usually means that when you get into tough situations, you're going to revert back to your cheating mentality, which is,
I love this. I love it.
I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to find a way out. I give up. So I thought by the 5th or the 6th round, he's going to feel the heat, he's going to feel the pressure, and that cheating mentality he has is going to kick in, and he's going to look for a way out. Somehow, this guy found it in himself to stay in there and take his ass beating.
I rate it.
And for that, I'll give him his credit.
I rate it. See, you're doing it again, Chris, but I rate it,
He wasn't a Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders, these guys, they get hurt and they look for a way out. He was hurt, he was tired, and he stayed in there. So for that, I'll give him his respect and his credit. Still a drug cheat, but you stayed in there. You stayed in there. You didn't cheat. You didn't give up.
Who's got more to lose?
Hold on, no. Look, we've got to acknowledge what he's doing there. Working, Chris.
Who's got more to lose?
It ain't working, Chris. See these antics, yeah? I got your number.
I won the fight.
I got your number.
I don't need to be here.
I got your number, Chris.
You got my number.
I got your number, Chris. See all these antics and all that. Well done, you got in my head first time round. Well done to you.
It's not antics.
Well done to you.
It's the fight game.
Ain't working.
It's the fight game.
Ain't working. See these mind games that you try and do.
And you're learning.
This is where he's got to revert back to. This is where you got to revert back to try and get under my skin.
Truth.
Say what you like. Say what you like. I'm going to systematically beat you.
The fact that Conor is saying here, what you're trying is not going to work this time, and he's still animated. So I'm not sure how much I believe that. But the fact that he then immediately reverts to, this isn't working, it's not going to work, and this time I'm going to systematically beat you. It's a very interesting choice of word, because it really feels like I'm not going to come in there and rip your head off like I did last time. I'm going to break you down, and I'm thinking about what I'm doing this time. And I think that's a really important thing for Conor, because last time he fought so recklessly, so emotionally. I don't think he could have fought any worse in terms of strategy. I think the sharpness he can gain from that fight, but also the clarity of what you're going to be doing to him in there, it can only make him perform better. And the word systematically is exactly what he needs to be thinking like, not reckless. Saying it and doing it is two different things. I think we all know, because of the way he is, and he's a fucking hothead, which is why I like watching him. It could just take one punch from Eubank and that all goes out the window. How much discipline can you show in there? Because we know Eubank can show discipline. Eubank's got that. We've not really seen that from Conor Benn, and that's something he's going to have to give himself a chance, because, again, the size, it's just massive. And you're constantly having to come to Chris Eubank. He knows where you're going to be. He's going to counter punch you, and it could just be the same again otherwise.
I am not going to stop until I am pulled off of this guy. That was my mentality. It will be the same on November 15th.
Is there any way this doesn't turn into a dogfight? Last question.
No, I won't turn into a dogfight.
With the bad blood, the feud. I mean, this was started off nice and calm, and it's turned into...
It's calm. No. It's calm, mate.
He's a new man.
It's calm, a new man. Exactly that. I'm a new man. Taught me a lesson there, Chris.
Eubank actually did teach him a lesson. That's actually true in my opinion. It's just whether or not Conor can learn from it, implement it, and if Conor's even big enough to be in there with a guy the size of Chris Eubank and actually do what he needs to do. Because Eubank learned a lot in that fight and he actually got better as the rounds went on and he figured out what was working, what wasn't working, and I think there's a lot of adjustments for Conor Benn to make, and he's just a small guy. He's got power, but he's going to have to set those shots up and really vary his attacks up to be less predictable. I thought he was a bit predictable at times in that last fight, and he needs to disguise those power shots so that when they do land, you don't see them coming, and they're the ones that really fucking hurt, as we know. But that's all I've got time for today. Obviously, I think Eubank Jr. should be the favourite. I do give Conor Benn a chance. He's fast, he's explosive. Can he set those shots up? I hope so, because I wouldn't mind saying an upset just because he's just so much smaller than Eubank, and I do think that it's been an unfair narrative painted about this fight. But let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments below. Don't forget that not this Saturday when Eubank's on, but next Saturday we will be live from Saudi Arabia. 4 world titles on the line, multiple pound-for-pound fighters. Benavidez versus Yard. It is going to be potentially fight of the year. Tune in on the Pain Game Live. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the like button. I'll see you on the next one.